And the more important merecaster. You withdraw the merecaster and hold it before you. A sour thirst immediately overtakes you, nameless and persistent. Your hands shake, your throat is dry, drier than sun-bleached stones. The pull of the mirror within this device slices like a polished, shining knife through the wretched cravings clutching at your throat. Whispers rise from beneath their thirst, thoughts trapped not by the device itself, but by the maze of addiction fatefully carved within the hollows of the merecaster. One drink, one taste will help me think. I suffer. Why shouldn't I have what I want? I want this. I deserve this. You lift one hand from this device, and the thoughts fade into irritable muttering.
Just a few shits, please.
First thing you notice is the stifling heat. The dry air feels like it's sucking the life right out of you. You stand in the middle of a crowded street. An enormous blue dome towers in the distance over crowded clay and sin-steel buildings. The dome shimmers as the sunlight dances across its surface.
Couple shits.
Dark men and women jostle past you in bright-colored robes, kicking up dust clouds as they go. Dust glitters gold and silver, but it's just dust and it's making you cough. A beggar sits at your feet, her robes far grungier than those of the crowd. The beggar is a thin, gaunt young woman, her skin reddish-brown from what looks like constant sunburn, her hair bleached almost white, and her eyes green with bluish tints. Light reflects on a smooth, polished metal band around her throat. "Coin for knowledge," she chants rhythmically in a pleasing voice, rocking gently. "Coin for pity, coin for song." She sees you staring. "I know you," she says, her normal voice almost as melodious as her chanting. She points at the side of your head. "I've seen that tattoo and that uniform. You're one of the lords of the endless battle, aren't you? A cast-off. What business could you have with the Oasis?" Try to remember whose lives you're in now. Your accoutrements jog your memories. His name is Reese Falk, an officer of the 1st Militia. A patch was torn from his uniform, suggesting he is actually a former officer. You remember a scandal that resulted in Reese's exile, but you don't know any more details than that. Several ornaments hang from your belt: a metal hand, an electronic eye, a dead power core. They're trophies, Reese's specialty in battling constructs and automatons. These ornaments are a source of pride for him. My business is none of yours. A strange smile crosses her lips. Your exile is obvious enough from your uniform. The torn patch is a dead giveaway. I'm surprised you still wear it. But what interests me more are those curios around your belt. He points at the various trophies on your belt from defeated automatons. She beckons you closer and leans into your ear. I have a job for someone just like you. I need your help to sneak into the Oasis. Why do you want to get into the Oasis so badly? She sits back, folding her hands in her lap. You want a story? No, of course you don't. Here's the short, bittersweet version then. You see this? She touches the metal band around her throat. I acquired it some time ago when I used to live in Sega's Cliffs. I can't say what compelled me to wear it, but... She laughs at her own foolishness. I did, and it gave me the most beautiful singing voice, and as an odd bonus, the ability to breathe water. I began to go by the name of Pipe Singer. But what blessing is without a curse? She looks wistfully in the direction of the blue dome. Mine is an overwhelming urge to immerse myself in water. I need it. I ache for it. She squeezes her fists until her knuckles become white. He lets go and sighs. I came here hoping to move into the oasis, but their immigration laws are quite strict. I sing for money here in Jerboa, spending a day in Marajolios whenever I have enough scraped together. But it's not enough. I need more. So why do you need to sneak into the oasis? First time in Marajolios, I see. Yes, I have to sneak in. Oh, for a handful of shins I can play tourist for a day, and believe me I do, whenever I can, but I need to live there, to be part of their waters. Her shoulders droop. But the gibbers make it difficult. They fear that blending the cultures might do, so they place heavy restrictions on who can emigrate. They patrol the borders and monitor the air skin bracelets sold in Jerboa. You must have connections or money for them to let you in. I have neither. However, she leans in eagerly, if you can avoid their patrols and breathe without a bracelet, as I can, then it is possible. I have a cheaper friend who says it's more trouble than it's worth for them to seek out every illegal air breather who slips through their net. It's only the net that is the problem. Okay, do you have a plan? She pats the ground next to her and waits until you're sitting down. The tour groups are our way in. The Gibber guards will let anyone pass with a guide. Of course, the problem is that the guides stick to you like... She searches for the right metaphor, then lets a handful of sand sift through her fingers. Well, like that. He raises a finger. Except at the menagerie. It's like an underwater museum, but it's so crowded that the guides simply hang out at the entrance. So we enter Mirajolios with a group, slip away and hide ourselves in the menagerie until nightfall. I'm a bit skeptical about this plan. What the fuck do I care? A shadow crosses her face. This is the tricky part. The menagerie is guarded by a demon, an automaton from a prior world. He playfully flicks a construct's eye hanging from your jacket. But I suspect you know a thing or two about dealing with those, don't you? With your skills, we should be able to sneak past it no problem. Yeah, sounds very dangerous. Why should I risk my life? I thought you'd never ask. She sidles closer to you. You were kicked out of the endless battle, yes? On the first sight, if I'm not mistaken. He smiles at your surprise. You'd be amazed what you hear even on the streets of Jerboa. I know a thing or two, including something very interesting about your militia that's worth the risk. Besides, what have you got to lose? Well, my life for one. But it seems like this is the purpose of this, so... Alright. Her face lights up as bright as her song from before. Thank you, thank you! For a man of your skill, this will be easy, I promise. Get what you need. I'll meet you at the gates in an hour. And she gets up and practically floats away. Finding the gates of the oasis is simple. All roads radiate from the dome like a hub. The air is cool and fresh near the bubble. This close, the waters appear to rise perfectly vertically. You strain your neck trying to see where they disappear. An energy net shimmers just inside the waters, open only at a single point where several Kibra armed with barbed glowing spears scrutinize every air breather who tries to enter. Those with bracelets and tour guides are allowed to pass, the rest are turned away. Neme suddenly slaps an airskin bracelet on your wrist. You feel a slight tingle but nothing more. He points to a group of Jerboans next to a smiling Gibra. Ready? Let's go. Stepping into the oasis is surprising. There's no shield or force holding the waters. You walk into them like you might walk into the sea. Once inside, the tour guide takes you all over the massive city, through the sunken market and underwater park, the government square. Neme was right. She doesn't let you out of her sight once. Finally, you arrive at the menagerie. It's just as crowded as Neme said it would be, filled with creatures and curios, as though it can't decide whether it's a museum or a zoo. It's almost overwhelming and you don't know what to look at first. Remember, remember why we're here. What's the crowd of tourists? Okay, what's our options? Take a stroll, find a good hiding place. Also look at the constructs near the door. Yeah, that's probably what we should do. Dangerous looking water creatures. You know, the constructs were supposed to be our problem. Imprisoned fire creatures. Amulet on a pedestal in the center of the foyer. Take a closer look at the construct near the door. The construct's armor is pitted and scarred, bursting with metal thorns on all sides. Instead of arms, it has long killing blades sharpened to a gleaming edge. It appears to be inactive, completely oblivious to you and anything in the menagerie. A feeling of intense loathing rises unbidden as you look upon it. These are not your feelings, you realize, but in visceral response to the person whose body you're in. Find a good hiding place. The menagerie is much larger than it looked from the entrance. There are smaller curios and cells located everywhere, including all the way to the back. There's even a cell that the plague says was once used as a prison for air breathers who broke Miragolius's most sacred laws. The cell is filled with air. It is empty and dark. It would make the perfect place to hide if you could gain access. There's a latch that leads into it, tucked away in a dark back hallway. But the latch is made of thick, heavy synth steel. You'd have to break the latch to get in. Try to unlock the latch? Quick fingers. Yeah, so success isn't exactly great. Smash? Yeah, even worse. Go all in. The lock is complex, like nothing a human has ever built, but after working it for several minutes, you finally hear a satisfying clink from within the door. Latch turns and you shove it open. You and Mimi slip into surprisingly warm air of the cell and close the hatch behind you. Then it's just a matter of waiting for nightfall. Hours pass, tourists and tour guides leave one by one. The guides don't seem to keep track of who they brought, acting only as chaperones for tourists who wish to return. The remainder are accompanied out at sunset. The menagerie is dark and empty. Sunlight that had been filtered in from translucent rocks in the ceiling is now gone. Only a few fish and rocks still light the gloom. You emerge from your hiding place, moving as quietly as possible. But as soon as you reach the main corridor, a metallic voice carries from the direction of the front entrance. Did you think I would not see, would not know? You will die here tonight. You see the demon around the corner, a construct bristling with spikes and blades. It doesn't seem to have seen you yet, but it knows you are here and it is blocking the exit. You have a beam lance bracer in your forearm, but you suddenly wonder if that will be enough. We basically can attack it, but I have no weapon skills at all. Sword or a lance? Blind the demon or disable the demon? Melee weapons, range weapons up. blind the demon? Yeah, this basically is just 35% chance, seriously. 55. Yeah, it's a coin flip. You swim closer, slicing at vital components on the demon's side. Just as you think you've done it, one of its blade's arm deflects your blows. It is damaged, but not disabled. I served the Tabath in their golden age. I hunted down races that your people don't even remember. Do you think I could be taken down so easily by you? Before you react, the demon fires a blast of energy that causes the water surrounding you to burn like fire. You scream in agony, then when your vision returns, Neme is still next to you, breathing heavily with her air skin bracelet. It doesn't look like she could take another hit like that. Even you could only survive a short while longer. I can't retry that. This is even less likely to succeed, but it's the only thing we're gonna still try. You aim the lance at its head and fire. The beam strikes a glancing blow across its side of the thing's face, doing damage but not blinding it. It turns back and shows an inhuman grin. I was made for this, perfectly designed to kill you. There is no chance you will survive. The demon zips through the water, its blades gleaming dangerously. You and Nimi try to get out of the way, but it's too fast. It twists and spins, slashing you across the back and slicing Neme's throat through her metal collar. 2 clouds of blood burst into the water. Neme is dead and you are very close to joining her. Yeah. Beam lands. Aiming carefully, you fire again at its lower torso. The beam explodes with a blast of light and heat, firing into and then through the demon's body. It is flung backwards through the water, slamming into the wall behind it. Its eyes dim and it goes silent. Yeah, I should have just fired at it then. With the demon destroyed, there is nothing between an exit. You swim out into the cool, liquid night. Well, that went well. Stars and full moon shimmers above you from outside the dome of the oasis. Shadowy mountains rise in the far distance of the edge of the valley. Below you, the rest of Mara Julius is a black expanse. Sadly, Neme will never see it. As you swim down to the surface, 2 shadowy figures fly through the water above you. The moon's reflection shines on them, and for a brief moment, you catch a glimpse of 2 cast-off tattoos and an artificial eye. Massa! The 2 disappear into the menagerie. Any thoughts of following them are quickly snuffed out as something tugs painfully at your gut. Within seconds, Mirajolius fades away for good. Right, so that was a gigantic waste of time, and I still don't have a way to access the mouth. I have to drink the juice. I can't think of anything else to do. I don't have the blade anymore either, so yeah. Very disappointing that we failed everything, but it is what it is. I wonder why they have weapon checks for harder hits, I suppose. The machine would be intact. That's why. Blind it or disable it. The intelligence inside would remain, so... But why would I want to do that? I have no idea. Anyway, it's gone. It's no longer an option. So our last ditch effort. Use it.
Absolutely. All right.
We have to use this as much as possible. No rest, no matter what. I'm also going to recover some of my stats now. We don't need a lot, but a couple of points would certainly be welcome, just in case shit hits the fan. I also have an item that will restore all my stats, so if we get into a tough situation because of sleeping requirements, I'll use that.
Gladly. On it.
Listen. Your thoughts are still addled from drinking the water of the bloom, but its hissing and chittering somehow make more sense to you now. You can't grasp the meaning of the sounds, but you get a clear impression of desperate hunger for not a living thing, but a feeling. Sadness? No, it isn't that. Regret? Closer, but
I'll remember that.
guilt. The maw feeds upon guilt, and not just any guilt will suffice. You sense that it must be powerful and deeply held, or it will not be enough to satiate the maw. Oh, that was easy.
Absolutely.
Urja? Is it... Could it be anyone else, really? Maybe one of these guys. I mean, it's deeply held guilt. Urja expressed at least openly no guilt, so, but he still might have it. I don't care for these people, I have no use for them, so I'm more likely to sacrifice them.
Of course.
I am the very soul of action.
The newborn maw feeds on guilt. If you want to know if Herja feels any remorse for her crime, let her face the maw. Okay, that's a good one. I was thinking of just asking for permission to basically try to sacrifice her, but this is better.
Updated my journal.
Yes, this is a perfect trial for our prisoner. She can stand before the maw, and unless she has completely divorced herself from human feeling, the bloom will take its due. A fitting punishment. Once she has done it, she is free to go.
The speaker crackles.
You will find a disc on her forehead. Turn it 3 times with her shins to release her from her prison. Tell her that if she survives the maw, she has earned her freedom.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Whew. Koto has agreed to release you, but only if you face the maw and allow it to draw out your guilt. Huh, I have nothing to confess or regret, so the maw will find me a paltry meal. I accept your bargain. The disc on her forehead pulses briefly and loses its cohesion on her flesh. Falls to the ground, and Herja's eyes widen as her imaginary prison disappears. You do not know how to reactivate it, but it might be valuable to a merchant. It is an artifact, though. Not a oddity. She bends over to pick the disc, and she passes it to you with a mocking smile. As a knight, I live by my honor, and it's my honor to put some miles between this place and me. A quick jaunt to this moth, and then I'll show my heels. With a slight sneer, Herja steps toward the moth. I will tell you what I regret, she declares, that let the bloom do its worst. Confidence shines from her face, and her proud carriage, even despite the filth that smears her armor, makes her look for every inch the knight she claims to be. The maw's tongues reach out to her, grasping and tugging, and as they penetrate into her flesh and draw her close, you can see the first flickers of doubt and fear. Her eyes focus somewhere far away, and she addresses someone who isn't here. She begins to speak through gritted teeth as if resisting the pull of the maw on her memories. "The spotted Darcy. I cared little for it, sister, but your sadness made me cry." She breathes deeply, and something inside her seems to break. Her stoic mask begins to crumble. "I didn't mean for them to die. Not like that. Not painfully, not twitching, frothing, kicking. Not the children." She swallows. "I sold some of the metal before I crumbled it into the air. I thought the dose will be toxic. Toxic it was, but not enough to drop them. The screams. That was the first time they ever seemed human to me. But skinning the yellow woman, her tentacles, her sting, she cried and wailed, but she was a monster." Urgia sobs and her voice drops to a monotone. "Cutting out her babies was a blessing to her. Stopping more monsters from entering the world, we all agreed." Yeah, keep talking. She doesn't seem to hear, her voice reciting a litany of further crimes. "When we brought the tunnel down on the diggers, I could hear their cries through the rubble. Rather than offer mercy, I gave them fire to steal away their breath." Her voice drones on, and somehow this makes her story more horrifying. "I herded the weeping families into the spire, even though I knew that the resonance of the chamber would slowly shiver them apart. I hated them, I thought, but it was only because I feared my fellows' scorn. I called down the treasures, and I stood guard with my blazing spear, keep the fathers from saving their children. I laughed at their cries, and I disemboweled the one because I thought he might serve as a lesson. His blood ran with that of his children, and they all suffered to see the others in agony. We wagered over who would die first." He stops talking. "I am a greater monster than ever they were." A piece of shattered synth lies on the ground nearby. Urgia snatches it with her free hand and brings it to her neck. Tears pour down her cheeks and she murmurs, "I'm so sorry." Grab her hand. Ooh, initiative. You have great initiative. Yeah. You grab her wrist before she can slash her throat, and her pain-filled eyes focus on you. "Let me die," she whispers, and she leans into the synth. You can barely keep it from her. She is strong, and she clearly wants to end her agony. Let's try talking. "You want to atone for what you did? Suicide is the easy way, the coward's way." Yeah, that's not gonna really help, but it'll work in this game. I want guaranteed success on this. She drops the synth and begins to sob, great racking heaves. The bloom's tongues withdraw from her, leaving her sitting on the ground and her new self-knowledge and grief. Okay, didn't open. Fuck. Her eyes distant, almost vacant, she stands on weakened legs. She totters a short distance and looks back over her shoulders at I'm so sorry." Then she stumbles away. Surely it should open though. I mean, it didn't want to kill her, just want the guilt.
I'll remember that. Updated my journal.
Right. The air stirs around you, slowly at first, and then a gust as the maw begins to open, expelling atmosphere from an alien world into little Neelish. A black tunnel opens, the skein between worlds stretching taut and then snapping like coal from an infant's face. Lost Anchorage. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted, wasn't it? The marooned alien shore. Yeah, Lost Anchorage. We found it.
Naturally.
We can report that we opened this, we can report that we found Lost Anchorage, so... At least, well, our delving into the mere adventures both failed horribly, but at least I don't have to end in a total loss with this.
So Herja lives. Let us hope that she understands the magnitude of her actions. In time she may learn something of compassion. But such is not my experience.
Some strange strangled noise sound comes from the grill at the front of the tent.
Before you go, what became of the device that bound Herja to her prison?
Uh, I have it. But why would I want it? Well, I worked hard to open this mall and to bring Herja to justice. I should be able to keep the disc as a partial recompense. Yeah, it's a decent argument. A pause from the speaker and then
I agree. Your work has been exemplary, and it would be churlish of me to demand its return.
I'm going.
yay, maybe it'll be useful. Worth some cash, but I'm not interested in the cash. I mean, I have over, yeah, I have 1100 shins and nowhere really to spend them. I maybe can spend 1,000 somewhere if I really want to, like a simple upgrade on something, but that's it. I don't have room for ciphers. Well, actually, I did found the path, but apparently
Yes.
I need to
Now.
actually go through to Garen to confirm the path. Out of the two merecasters, I like the first one. The second one was just basically us failing because we're not a fighter of any kind. But the first one was, I think, very clever because it uses my character's sort of focus of trying to talk about all the options against you. If you do that, you're guaranteed to lose. You're supposed to. I suppose it would have helped if it would be more. I could have remembered somehow what the goal here was. By the time I noticed the change, wasn't that I didn't see how the options I chose could have actually negatively impacted on things. So by the time I sort of figured out how the things are probably going to work, it was already too late to do anything about it. That's why I went with pretty much all the options. I mean, I had lost it, so why not see where it goes. Return to Gark. I've already found this. Can I report this too? No. Not yet.
Why not? I'm making a note.
This careworn woman is dressed in strange ornate armor. Her bearing is militaristic and her eyes roam constantly, though the rest of her body is under strict control. She assesses you in a glance. Outworther, the bloom portal is open. It's good that you spoke to me first. Few Lascars speak your tongue. Officers mainly. She clucks her tongue. We need practice. Welcome to the anchorage. I'm Captain Janur. The anchorage is my command. All you see is under my command. Explore our home if you like, but our traditions, respect them, please. Yeah, I found some of your crew in the bloom. Jemadar Arachi and her crew. She presses a hand to her chest and bows her head. Our thanks, Outworker, from myself and from the crew. Should you see her again, please tell her that the way to Anchorage is open to her. Sure. I'll actually go and do that right now. I want to start this. Yeah, it looks like a decent sized adventure. I want to start it fresh.
Yes.
You might get some very helpful experience too. Experience points from completing these two quests. We were promised rewards by the Gorkoto and the group. I opened the new mob, but I found some kind of terminal or port on the other side, not the city of Neelish. Karkoto hisses in disappointment, and its great bulk crashes in the tank.
Alas, it would appear that we must remain in the bloom for now. We shall find another route home eventually.
The murky gases swirl around the prince's corpulent form.
Opening the maw has served the residents of Little Neelish. Name your fee.
600 shins. Offer ask nothing. The work itself was reward enough. I don't give two shits about the money though. I wish I could ask for something else. I think I'll go with option 2. I don't ask a fee. I sort of a way to find Neelish for your people, and I failed. Although I don't think this is a good option, but I don't care about the other options either. Might as well see where this goes.
Making a note.
You do us all an unexpected honor. You have my gratitude, cast off.
Okay. So Indigo Tide. We're very much blue.
Absolutely.
I found a mall to Little Neelish. In Little Neelish. It looks like it leads to your anchorage. For the first time a broad smile cracks her face. A savior, Julie, the opener of the ways who can rescue marooned travelers. She turns and speaks to her crewmates. Shalan Askun Tobel, Quetzal. She turns back to you and presses a small device in your hand. It's useful, old but reliable. Okay.
Making a note.
Some kind of a thingamajig. Changing tool. Confers changing tool. Plus 150% on quick finger task and smashing tasks. 3 uses. Consumes movement. A silver needle as long as a finger sticks out from this black metallic ring. Band is about as wide as a fingernail and has 2 golden metal plates on it. Touching one of the plates causes the needle to soften, letting it be shaped into a helpful tool for most situations. Okay. Minus 5% on all tasks. That's a pretty big no-no. Can you juggle these around? So I actually would like to have this on the main character because she can't do quick finger tasks or smashing tasks. But in a tough situation we might have to. So negative pedal of -2 speed pool. No. Doesn't matter with him. Right. Good enough.
Of course.
Right, we won't be doing anything else. I'll just haul my ass to the portal and leave things there. Still have at least a couple of things to do there. The helm. We need to go find some kind of device to get more out of that.
I'm ready. I'm open.
And who knows what else we can do there. Could be a simple short visit, but I think that would be a waste. Why would create another world like this if you're basically not gonna have something for the player to do there?